Holy shit. He said what?
Really difficult stories emerging about Prince Harry's mental health, about his ongoing issues with drink and Thomas Markle Jr. has spoken out.
So apparently Harry was found unconscious by his well-known longtime personal friend bodyguard, unconscious, and apparently overdoing something. Yeah, and he had to be rushed to the hospital.
Doria has it in her to suck a man dry, to suck out his life and encourage a child to do it. And I believe the ringleader in all of this is Doria, because she's the one that knows how to get the She is the one that has been there to teach Meghan to do what she's currently doing to Harry, because Doria has already done it to Thomas Markle Sr.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So for her, it's time to move on.
Prince Harry is back in the headlines, but this time, it's not for royal duties or charity work. Something shocking just leaked from behind the heavily guarded gates of Montecito, and it's not the kind of royal drama anyone expected.
We know that he talked about in his book Spare how he relied on alcohol and to mask how he felt amid panic attacks after his mom's death.
According to multiple insider sources, Harry was allegedly discovered unconscious in his California mansion. And no, this wasn't just a dizzy spell. Whispers suggest it's linked to serious use. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. Meghan Markle, she reportedly wasn't at home. In fact, word is she left before the ambulance even arrived, heading off to party with her inner circle at an exclusive members-only club.
It just seems like Meghan just does not care about her husband. She doesn't care about how he is doing. He seems to not be doing very well. And Meghan is concerned about her career, her as ever, and what is important to her.
Maybe Harry's no use to Meghan anymore. Maybe the divorce rumors are actually true. Maybe there's no money in the settlement for the divorce. Wow, let's make a new Netflix series and story out of Harry's demise. Ooh.
This isn't just gossip, it's the kind of rumor that flips the image of the Sussexes upside down and sends royal watchers into a frenzy. Yeah, let that sink in for a second, because this is where things start to spiral. According to insiders close to the Royal Protection Squad, it wasn't just anyone who found Harry, it was David, his longtime bodyguard. Not some rookie with a walkie-talkie, but a decorated former Scotland Yard officer who's been by Harry's side since the early 2000s. He even earned a medal from the late Queen herself. This is the man tasked with keeping Harry safe, literally keeping him alive. And this time, he might have actually saved his life.
The security guard, David Langdown, who has served as his close protection officer with the Met for 16 years and was assigned to Harry around over a decade ago. He was even with Harry during this whole Las Vegas ordeal that happened with Harry when he was doing got busted naked and all these things. Like, this man has been around. He has seen something.
Now, let's be honest, Harry's name has floated through rumors for years. It's been part of the background noise since his wild teen days. But this feels different, more serious. Sources say the amount of involved wasn't small. And if even half of what's being whispered is true, the fallout could be massive. Not just for Harry, but for the entire royal narrative he's been trying to rebuild. This wasn't just a wild night out or some hazy Vegas flashback. What we're hearing is far more serious. Prince Harry was reportedly completely unconscious, out cold, before being rushed to a California hospital. And according to those close to the situation, he spent hours in recovery before doctors were finally able to stabilize him.
You just see Meghan becoming more and more into the social media, more and more about her as ever and talking about launching new products and, doing all these things. But yet the story around Harry is completely different. That in itself tells you how Harry is doing, okay? And how Meghan just doesn't care.
But here's the kicker. The people who should have been by his side, they were nowhere to be found. Sources claim Meghan didn't just step out. She allegedly bolted fast, and not just to escape the chaos, but to build an alibi. That's not speculation either. Reports say she was spotted that same night at an ultra-exclusive club, laughing and socializing like nothing had happened. But this isn't just about one chaotic night. There's a darker thread running through all of it, a deeper pattern that's starting to surface. And the more we dig, the more unsettling it gets. Because if even a fraction of these reports are true, then what we're seeing isn't an isolated incident. It's the latest chapter in a years-long downward spiral. And the most disturbing part, no one in real power has stepped in to stop it. The palace knows, they've always known. Even royal biographers like Penny Junor, who spent decades documenting the inner workings of the monarchy, have hinted that Harry's struggles with substances go way back, long before Meghan was even on the radar.
He gave up everything for Meghan, a person who doesn't respect him, a person who humiliates and devalues him in front of the whole world, a person who isolates him from everything and everyone, and tore away every shred of dignity he had left, a person who helped turn him into a laughing stock. The light has completely left his eyes. He has stopped trying to hide his unhappiness. He's an empty shell of who he used to be. He's constantly being dragged around and used as a prop by Meghan. And what have I always said? Harry the handbag. He is Meghan's handbag. That's what he looks like.
Let's rewind to the early 2000s. That's when the whispers began. Harry dabbling in partying a little too hard with alcohol. But this wasn't just harmless teenage rebellion. According to insiders, things escalated quickly. We're talking blackouts, erratic behavior, and full-blown panic behind palace doors. Behind the scenes, royal aides were scrambling. But here's the twist. When things got messy, it wasn't Harry who took the fall. Somehow, it was always someone else, like Eska and Winnie, who ended up taking the heat. The warning signs were there, loud, clear, and ignored. Prince Charles reportedly went so far as to build an actual nightclub inside Highgrove, his own estate, all in a desperate attempt to keep Harry's wild behavior contained. A private royal club, as if that was going to fix anything. But now, older and far more disturbing stories are starting to resurface. We're talking about events from as far back as 2007, moments that most people wouldn't believe if they weren't documented. According to these resurfaced accounts, Harry wasn't just partying, he was allegedly snorting vodka. Yes, snorting, not drinking. And no, this isn't some twisted college prank. Medical professionals have pointed out that this method bypasses the liver and sends alcohol directly to the brain, something that can cause instant death.
King is concerned about his son. No matter all the problems that they have with, privacy and everything and, things that have been said, at the end of the day, the king is a father. I can imagine if my son were going through something similar and he did things to make me upset, I'm still going to be there in a way that is not very public, but also trying to give that tough love.
And yet back then, crickets. The media barely touched the story. Why? Because one of the only outlets willing to go there, News of the World, was shut down in the wake of a completely unrelated scandal. So the question isn't just what Harry was doing, but how many of these stories were buried before the public ever got a glimpse. And through all of this, while Harry's health and stability are in serious question, Meghan's name keeps surfacing, and not in a flattering way. According to multiple insiders, Meghan hasn't just been aware of Harry's struggles, some allege she's been enabling them. The claim that she uses substances as a way to keep control, keeping Harry in a foggy, dependent state while she carefully crafts the public narrative. It's a chilling accusation, but it's not coming out of nowhere.
This is a time when he needs someone the most, especially a wife. And I just don't believe that Meghan is the person that is going to be there for Harry. As a matter of fact, I think she's going to make things worse for him because she doesn't care and she's consumed about all these superficial things when this man is just going downhill very quickly. I think he needs tough love, but at the same time, he is a human being that is having problems and he needs help. And I think Meghan is just making things worse.
What's really fanning the flames here is Meghan's own past. Long before she ever stepped into royal life, she had a reputation in certain Hollywood circles. And it wasn't just about her acting career. People who attended her first wedding in Jamaica still talk about the party favors that were allegedly passed around. And no, we're not talking scented candles or thank you cards. It raises a whole new layer of questions about power, manipulation, and just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. Allegedly, guests at Meghan's first wedding didn't just leave with tan lines and memories. They reportedly received gift bags with rolled joints, hand-prepped by Meghan herself. Some attendees claimed they didn't even realize what they were carrying until they were already back in the US, a detail that could have landed them in serious legal trouble. That alone paints a very different picture of Meghan.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
One that suggests she's no stranger to the scene. And then there's Doria, Meghan's mother. Insiders claim Doria has her own complicated past tied to California's underworld. Some even allege alleged, she still has connections in circles that are far from clean. Whether those claims are true or not, the whispers behind closed doors are hard to ignore. The Markle women have always known exactly where to get what they want and how to keep people in line. It all adds to a growing narrative that challenges the polished, curated image Meghan's worked so hard to project. That theory takes a much darker turn when you look at what's being said about Meghan's alleged hold over Harry. It's not just about her tolerating his addictions. Some claim she uses them like a leash, a way to keep him compliant, quiet, and broken.
We know Doria is also someone that does. We know that Meghan has done in terms of her first marriage or second marriage to Trevor Ingleson, where they put all these little things in people's bags, these goodie bags for her wedding.
But here's the real twist. This isn't just about one woman's influence. The truly unsettling part is how many people in Harry's inner circle have apparently known about this for years and said nothing. From palace insiders to seasoned royal correspondents, everyone seems to have a story. Stories of Harry spiraling out of control, wild, fueled rants, violent outbursts, emotional breakdowns happening far from the cameras. And every single time one of those stories got close to breaking through, it would vanish. Like clockwork, the royal family's PR machine would sweep in, slap a charity event or a feel-good military photo op on top of the scandal, and just like that, Harry was back in the public's good graces.
We know that he takes. We know that he does things to mask the pain. This Harry has told us in his book Spare. And so when I hear these stories, these reports, these allegations around Harry having dose, to me, it sounds very plausible because of what we know from Harry's own mouth and what we see his wife do to him.
It paints a picture of a man not just battling inner demons, but trapped in a system that helped bury them again and again. By Monday, sharp-eyed internet sleuths had dug up a buried tabloid clipping, one that's raising even more eyebrows. It documents a bizarre incident where Harry reportedly inhaled an entire canister of laughing gas, not at a party, but during a hospital visit. This wasn't some birthday balloon stunt. We're talking about medical-grade nitrous oxide, strictly regulated and supposed to be administered only by professionals. So how did Harry get access to it? And more importantly, why was the story quietly swept under the rug? These are the kinds of questions no one in the mainstream press seems eager to ask, and maybe it's because they already know the answers and don't want to deal with the storm that would follow.
Harry has now been in the claws of a woman who is out to use and suck him dry. Would that be out the realm of possibility? Do you think it was something that Doria did with Thomas Markle Sr.? Absolutely. I believe that to be the case.
And then there's his military career, something Harry has proudly worn like armor. But behind the uniform, there's quiet chatter. That testing during his service was either skipped or doctored to keep his image intact. It adds another layer to a pattern of protection, where consequences are dodged, stories are buried, and the truth is hidden behind polished photo ops and royal spin. One former palace staffer even claimed that when a surprise test was announced on base, Harry was immediately flown out. No explanations, no questions asked. Another insider recounted an incident from the same era involving both cocaine and vodka, but just like clockwork, the palace swooped in and shut it down. No public fallout, no consequences, just more damage control.
Even from supporters of the Sussexes, that Prince Harry is not in a good place. And those recent videos that you see of him, he made one for the German military and he gave that speech for Travelist in China. I mean, honestly, watching him, it was like he wasn't there. He was just going through the motion. It's like he knows he's defeated.
Fast forward to today, and what do we see? A man who appears to be spiraling deeper into addiction, while everyone around him looks the other way and pretends nothing's wrong. Meghan's reportedly setting up airtight alibis. The palace is set to be on high alert, but still refuses to release a single statement. Unless it's fluff or photo ops, the silence is deafening. And through it all, the one person who's never wavered, David laying down. From the wild Vegas nights to the quiet chaos in Montecito, he's been there, watching it all unfold. This isn't just a bodyguard. This is someone who knows the entire story. David laying down has seen it all, and now he's the one who finally made the call to get Harry real help. But even with his intervention, the damage may already run too deep, because this isn't just a one-off or some isolated lapse in judgment. It's a pattern, a slow, tragic unraveling that's been years in the making.
This gentleman's name, he's known as Langers, and he is known, he has been a consistent presence at Harry and Meghan's side, and after retiring from the public sector, he has continued to work for the Duke, becoming one of his closest confidants.
And let's be clear, everyone involved carries some of the blame. From the enablers who kept the party going to those who looked the other way, pretending it would all just fix itself. There's a reason the palace is reportedly rattled. When a royal goes rogue, it's not just a PR crisis, it's a threat to the entire legacy. Harry isn't just a prince who partied too hard, he's someone who was born into unimaginable privilege, shielded from consequences at every turn. And now he's standing on the edge of something far darker than a scandal. If these reports are even close to accurate, then what we're watching isn't a phase. It's a man consumed by a lifetime of unprocessed trauma, unchecked freedom, and what some are calling toxic manipulation. And now, even the palace can't pretend it's not happening. According to insiders, King Charles was personally notified the moment Harry was admitted to the hospital. That alone says everything. Her connections, her past, her influence, they're no longer being brushed off as tabloid noise.
And then he also went on to credit Meghan for helping him to seek therapy. None of it sounds realistic. I don't think Harry has gotten the help he has needed. I mean, Meghan was willing to throw Harry's family under a bus and say that they didn't want to help me. A person that's going to say this about your husband's family, but then be credited with helping her husband get the therapy that he needs. Harry never got help. Harry was quick to do a show, The Me You Can't See with Oprah, because he wanted to make money. He needed to make money.
According to insiders, senior royal officials have reportedly begun re-examining key events from the past 5 years, looking for a pattern. The questions they're asking now, they cut deep. Did Meghan supply the drugs? Did she deliberately isolate Harry from his family? Did she build a world around him that fostered dependence, not love? And then there's Doria, often quiet, rarely seen, almost never interviewed. But some say she's far more involved in Meghan's life, and possibly in this situation than the public realizes. If drugs played a role in Harry's collapse, there's now open speculation that Doria may have helped facilitate access behind the scenes.
Doria Ragland was a young girl who got this man, Thomas Markle, who was making really good money to take care of her. I believe she even in some ways manipulated Thomas, used Thomas. Doria really going to be there for Thomas Markle Sr.? No, because we don't see her telling her own daughter to do the right thing by her father. So we know Doria is not a good candidate to be there to help a spouse with anything.
Nothing has been confirmed, but the fact that these kinds of questions are even circulating inside royal circles says everything. This isn't just a private family crisis, it's a potential royal disaster. Behind closed doors, palace lawyers aren't preparing for a quiet divorce. They're preparing for a public implosion. Because if Harry doesn't fully recover, or worse, if he decides to finally speak out about what really happened, this won't just be another messy headline. It'll be a bombshell that could blow the monarchy's tightly managed image wide open. And now, as the world watches and whispers, the palace can no longer hide behind polished photos and curated statements. If even a fraction of these claims hold weight, the cracks in the royal foundation won't just show, they'll shatter. Because this isn't just about scandal, it's about a man lost in the very system that was supposed to protect him. A system that chose silence over support, reputation over recovery. And now, with the spotlight brighter than ever, the question remains, will the truth finally come out, or will it be buried like so many stories before? If you want to keep following the real stories behind the headlines, without the royal spin, make sure you subscribe to Star Spotlight. We dig deeper, we ask the uncomfortable questions, and we bring you the truths others won't say out loud. Your voice matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about what's really going on behind palace walls.